Greetings. In today's video, I am going to showcase a video that is claiming to be an interview with an alien being that was discovered in Antarctica that had been asleep for around 3,000 years. So we're going to watch that interview and then watch a video of a woman who claims to have channeled with this alien being. This woman also claims that there is a connection between the alien and the helicopter that crashed into a plane over DC earlier this year. True or not, I don't know, but interesting nonetheless. Now let's have a look.
How are you, Sest? Good. Thank you for allowing me to ask you these questions once more. I know it's kind of tiresome. Okay. By the way, did you read what was said about you on the 4chan forums?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you find it amusing?
Interesting, good. Questions were strange, but many were different and good.
I guess that's just how we are. Now, I know you hate these...
I don't hate. Anger is not an emotion for my people.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. You did nothing wrong.
If you don't mind, back to the question. Why were you in that cave alone?
As I said countless times, I was alone.
Yes, but why? I mean, how does the technology that kept you alive work? Is it a form of stasis? We know it's not cryogenic.
Humans must evolve alone. Otherwise, if I help you with how you say technology, I won't be better than the ones who made you, the ones who corrupted you.
You refuse to answer.
I refuse to disgrace you and your ancestors.
Okay, that's fine. How old is the vessel, as you call it? You call it the vessel. We call it the hex shape.
It was built by my people 3,000 years ago in the land you once called
Kemet.
Hem.
Where is Kemet? Hold on. Hold on a sec. Okay, here. And the phone. Where in the map is Kemet?
The one that says Egypt.
Oh, okay, Egypt.
This
okay, I see.
Here.
Okay. It's old then. It's really old. I know you don't want to answer this, but I have, question. I have to pose a question again. How does it work? How do we get inside?
I said this before. No. Must I repeat myself?
I know, but it's for the British Ministry of Defense. You know, there are many countries involved, many nations who want your help to... I won't force you to talk if you don't want to.
Why do you want my vessel? So you can kill more people?
We're your ally, says.
But, Sam, you are not an ally to your brother, the other human. I know that if I give you the key to my vessel, you will kill again and again and again.
That technology could save lives.
In your hands, that is not the first option, is it? You want second option, power, conquest, oppression.
Very well. I won't bother you again. You know, that's just doing my job. Can you tell me about the technology where you were sleeping?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna barge. Not feeling generous today, are we?
I want to help your kind becoming better. Then we'll talk technology. Would you give a weapon to a child? No. The baby would hurt themselves and other people.
Good point. Okay. What questions can you answer then?
All technology-related questions will be rejected.
Mathematical questions?
Please. Yeah.
Can you... Let's see. Can you identify the sequence of prime numbers within your numeral system?
Prime numbers are fundamental in mathematics and might be, let's say, universally recognized. You could say that's how God created or emanated everything.
You had time to understand what the Riemann hypothesis is? No? Can you explain it to me? Can you give us an answer?
Yes. The Riemann hypothesis is correct. All non-trivial zeros of the z function lie on the line RE equal 1/2. It is based on the symmetry of prime numbers and energy stability in the mathematical field.
Okay. Can you... I know I've asked you this before, but I have to... I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. Can you tell me if there was life on Mars?
As I stated before, yes. It was annihilated by your makers. Their civilization reached quite the developed state. They were, how you say, good people. People who loved each other as one. Unity. Your markers didn't love anyone but their self.
I think you called it ego yesterday, didn't you?
Ego. I love English. It is quite similar to a language of a people that we interacted with very long ago.
Oh, you spoke about this before, the Proto-Europeans. You've studied them, right? Didn't you?
Good people. Sadly, their desires of conquest conquered their hearts.
Okay. About this Mars civilization, were they human like us?
No, but some managed to come, however, your, how do you call it?
In English,
your
DNA.
genetic
This case would be
composition.
DNA.
DNA. Your human DNA was not compatible with theirs. They couldn't mate, thus they disappeared.
Are there still like are the bodies or mummies of these people from Mars still on Earth?
Yes, but I will not disclose location.
I'm asking you this because, as you might have noticed, I've sent you a video of the so-called Mexican mummies. Did you get to see it?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me if it's real, if it's not real?
Yes. I believe so. Yes.
Good. What were these beings? Who were these beings? Are they connected to the ones that came from Mars?
Chimera, mixed of sentient creature, a remnant of your makers.
Chimera. Oh, you mean hybrids. So they're a mix.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Also,
Now, there is supposedly more leaked audio of that interview. Like I said before, I do not know if this is real, or if it isn't. I am just reporting to you what is floating around online. Now, let's have a look at the woman who says she has channeled this alien and connects him to the helicopter that crashed into a plane over DC this year.
I have another message from the aliens. I'm an interdimensional communicator, which means I can talk to aliens and angels and other interdimensional beings. Today's message is the most intense one I've ever received, so I do need to ask you to brace yourself. Make sure you're well-resourced for this message. Last week, I shared the sad news that alien Sest was on the Black Hawk helicopter that crashed into the jet in DC a couple weeks ago. And for those of you who missed my previous videos about him, Alien Sest was our alien ambassador who was discovered in Antarctica and then retrieved along with his egg-shaped vessel. Until recently, Alien Sest was in the custody of the United Nations, who conducted the interview that was leaked. Here's the photo of Alien Sest. This is not one of my AI renderings. It is a photo that was leaked. I think it's actually a photo of a computer monitor, so the quality isn't great, but this specific image is a real photo, not AI. He could have been easily mistaken for a human, except he was 8 feet tall. Also, here are some photos of the egg-shaped vessel he was found with. For scale, Sest told me it's about 20 feet long by 18 feet wide. Shortly after I shared the news of his death with you, I was doing my normal morning meditation and connection time, and I guess I had Sest on my mind, and so I just was checking in and asking how he was doing. And the response I got was, ask him yourself, which was news to me because I didn't even know I could contact aliens outside of the Galactic Federation that I'd been working with to that point. And I couldn't connect with Alien Sest when he was on the planet, but once he got back to the galactic realm, apparently that was something I could do, so I did. I started by thanking him for being our alien ambassador, and then just checking in, making sure that his recovery was going well. And then I asked the question that's on everyone's mind, which was, what happened in that Black Hawk helicopter? He gave me a little information, but I could tell he didn't want to give me details. So I thanked him again and ended the conversation. Then yesterday, again, I was doing my morning meditation and connection time, and I asked the aliens, okay, what do you want me to share today? And it was Alien Sest who came forward. He was ready to tell his story. When I heard about what really happened, I actually wasn't sure if I should share it with you. There are some details that might make some of you uncomfortable. But today, Alien Sest connected with me again and assured me that he does want you to know what happened and why. So again, please brace yourself. Make sure you're well-resourced for this message that includes some potentially distressing details. And as usual, I received his message telepathically. I typed it up on my iPad and then checked in with him to make sure he agreed with my interpretation. And now it's ready for you. Here's the message from Alien Sest. I have completed my recovery process, and now I am ready to share my story. The story begins more than 3,000 years ago in ancient lands we knew as Kemet. Today, you call it Egypt. That was a wonderfully abundant and joyful time in Earth's history. Humans and aliens walked the Earth together. The aliens brought gifts of energy, healing, and spirituality. You humans received our gifts with love and gratitude. Kemet was what you would call our primary base station. The pyramids we built still stand today. They were our energy centers. They were used for soul healing and ascension. They generated the energy we used to power our flying vessels and ourselves. We knew then that you would need us now. We built the egg-shaped vessel as a time capsule that contains valuable resources for us to share with you today. I was involved in building the vessel, and I volunteered to be the alien companion to this technology. We transported the vessel to the location now known as Antarctica, along with the human form I would need in the future. We prepared them to be safely hidden until the ideal time. The discovery of my vessel was made in your year 2022, and the retrieval occurred in January of this year. My human form was in stasis for over 3,000 years. When I awoke, my assignment was to escort the vessel and confirm it did not create a threat to the planet. My vessel and I were transported by the retrieval team to a location controlled by your United Nations. There, I was interviewed repeatedly. I had messages I was supposed to deliver and information I was supposed to keep secret until trust was earned. The most valuable secret was the key to my vessel. They repeatedly asked me, and I repeatedly explained my reasons for refusal. I knew they wished to use the vessel as a weapon. I knew they wished to use it for power and control. They did not harm me, but they were relentless in their questioning. The United Nations eventually became frustrated because they knew I would not give them the key of my own free will. The UN representatives, who treated me with respect, were pressured into releasing me to a different group of people who were less concerned with respect and free will. They claimed control and took custody of my body. They moved me to a location in the United States where they planned to use violence to retrieve the information I would not give them willingly. They did not know I could read their minds, but I knew exactly what was planned for me. The vessel was safe and protected, but the people now in control planned to use force to gain access to it. I was not concerned for the well-being of my physical form. My concern was regarding their intentions for the vessel in my care. I knew they would stop at nothing to gain access to the power of my vessel, and I knew it would lead to irrevocable damage to the planet. I was not willing to allow that to happen. The last leg of my journey was in a military helicopter. I was not listed as a passenger. I was considered important cargo. I recognized my best strategy to keep planet Earth protected was to use this opportunity to destroy my human form. I regretted the other lives that would be lost by fulfilling this plan, but the alternative would have led to much greater loss of life and significant damage to the planet. I would have preferred a solution with no loss of life other than my physical form, but that was not possible. I took over control of the helicopter with my mind. I made sure to keep us over water so there would be no loss of life on the ground, but there was no viable way to avoid innocent casualties. Ultimately, as you know, I connected with the jet. It was not a decision I made lightly. If I had any other option to protect the planet, I would have taken it. But I could not allow the dark forces to gain access to the vessel through me. It was a devastating solution to an even more devastating problem. And with that action, my mission was complete. That was the end of Alien Sest's message, but since I don't know him as well as the other aliens that I work with, it was important for me to confirm and validate what we heard from him. So I checked in with Alien Enki, who's my go-to for anything, really, but specifically confirmation and validation. Here's what Alien Enki had to add to that message. As we shared previously, we were not surprised by this outcome. We did not order Sest to take the actions he took, but we trusted him to make the correct decisions for his mission. We mourn for the families of the innocent victims, and we are deeply saddened by the losses, but we do not disagree with his judgment. We too saw the intentions of the humans in control of his planned interrogation. The loss of life would have been catastrophic if Alien Sest had not taken action to prevent the key from being discovered. The souls who perished immediately returned to the heavenly realm, where we welcomed them as ascended souls who gave their lives for the greater good of the planet. By fulfilling their mission, they cleared all of their karmic debt and now are preparing to ascend to the higher realms. So that's today's message, and obviously it was a really intense one. I'm already bracing myself for the comment section on this video. But like Alien Sest said, it was a devastating solution to an even more devastating problem. So today I'm going to end by suggesting that we all take a moment to express our gratitude to Alien Sest and all the souls who helped save us from a much more catastrophic outcome. It's hard for our human brains to comprehend the scale of this, but I do see it as another example of the aliens protecting humanity and the planet. It's also an example of calling upon the darkness to find a solution to an existential problem. I believe them when they say there was no solution that wouldn't have included loss of life. It might not seem this way to some of you, but I view this as the most compassionate way that aliens...
Well, I must admit that was the first time that I've listened to that channeler's video all the way through. A couple of things stand out to me. If that alien was that intelligent, to the point at which he could take over a helicopter with his mind, It could have come up with a different way to avoid the loss of human life. Could not have it caused the helicopter to just crash into the ground and away from people? Or even use its mind powers so that it could inflict maximum self-harm and avoid all loss of life? If the alien was truly that intelligent, I feel it could have come up with another way. And finally, the most important thing. This woman claims that the alien told her that all victims who were on that plane, that their karma debt was paid for their sacrifice. That is a huge red flag for me. Our sins can only be forgiven through having faith in our Lord Jesus. And not only that, but God gives us free will. And if those people knew what was about to happen, then they would have never gotten on that plane in the first place. This channeler should be ashamed of herself. She is either straight up lying to us, or she is being highly deceived by a demonic influence. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe, and click that bell so that you're alerted when I post new content like this. But that is all for now. I love you all. This is Leonard signing off.